Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Prophet Keith. I have a very special opportunity to chop it up with my brother, someone who I really respect in the business, man. I'm excited, I'm here. You know, he's extended his home for this opportunity for us to, to vibe out and talk, man. And I just want to say thank you.
Hold on.
Sorry, I appreciate
you
the
family,
opportunity,
brother.
man.
You can always be here.
Big time. I know you haven't been interviewing lately, so this is, a big deal. So I don't take it lightly.
I'm back. I'm back in the cycle now. I decided that, I'll go outside now.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I want to go right into the big song you have out right now. We're gonna cover a few things, but so you have a song with Chris Brown out right now.
That's the single.
So you back out for good reason. I've always when we first started playing the song, DJ Bulletproof dropped it. I hailed it as pretty much the two kings of radio coming together and making this track. Can you explain the process and how this happened and why you decided to do this?
Nah, actually, it was crazy. I had went to Mexico on a vacation, just trying to relax, get away from everything that was going on at the time. And he ended up being out there, staying 40 minutes away. And we ended up just linking up, catching a vibe, doing the record. We were supposed to shoot it out there too, but the vibe was just so good. We just ended up relaxing. We was happy that we had the record. It was like, when we go back home, we'll do it right, do a proper video, instead of just rushing something because we out in Mexico and it just feels like, it sounds like a vibe. So, the record honestly is my favorite R&B record right now. I think it's the same traditional standard as the old classic R&B records. The hook plays mad times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything about it, the feeling of it is very grown and sexy. And so I just felt like for right now, it's the time for it. We going into summer. It's a good summer record. It's a,
Big facts. If you were looking for grown and sexy, you captured that with that song.
Thank you so much.
Big time. What was the relationship like with you and Chris before you did the song?
Before we did Feels, that's always been my brother. So going to him and being like, yo, I'm hearing a vibe, or this is what we should do, it's never ever been like a hard task or something that makes me feel uneasy. That's really my brother, you know what I'm saying? And through everything, he's always been such a supportive dude. So, it's always been good,
Do you think there's a lot of correlation between you and Chris in the sense of you guys are being super talented and then kind of the envy of the industry, so to speak, a target in the industry?
With a certain amount of talent, you always got to understand that you're going to be under a certain scope. And so I play better under pressure, you know what I'm saying? So, that doesn't bother me. And I think Chris is the same way. We both look at things at the end of the day, what we have is melodies and music and, things that make people love us and character and a certain charisma to us. So we use that and we continue to prosper. And I think he shares the same mindset that I do when I say we don't pay attention to the hatred or anything about the negatives. It's more so you focus on the positives and they just keep you going.
Do you find that when you isolate yourself, it works out better for you, or how does that work? Oftentimes I feel like because you're so talented and you're so sought after, if you isolate yourself, then you won't have to deal with a lot of people coming in your space and trying to attack your space and stuff like that. But then it takes away from who that big personality you have.
Yeah,
how do you balance that?
I mean, I'm a people person. I'm not really one of those people who, was, yo, I don't like to be around people, or I would like to be normal. I like to go buy my own groceries and clean my own house and fold my clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm a normal person. So for me, it's nothing really to balance. I just kind of live my life every day. Whenever I want privacy and peace, I make time for that. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of artists, they clutter themselves with so much stuff around them because their life is so fast that they don't make time for, just peace. And I learned that just off of managing other artists, that it's not just about them just working and thinking that their work ethic is going to be exactly like my work ethic or vice versa. Everybody still has to be nurtured to a certain extent, because at the end of the day, if you don't have time on yourself, you can't really give it to anything else or anybody else at 100% of what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
How does it feel at this point in your career, coming from a space when I've talked to you before, knowing that when you were first coming out with your projects, nobody wanted to jump on the track with you. Now you're one of the most sought after artists that I'm sure your phone goes off on a daily basis with people wanting you to jump on their tracks. How do you deal with that type of situation coming from where you coming from now?
I just take everything as a blessing. It's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? You never want to be the guy that, even if you're too talented or people are afraid of competing because they're looking at it like that, you kind of don't want to be the guy that just nobody wants to. You know, it's harder to break through that way, you know? And so I learned in my own right to just be happy and to come into things with a positive attitude. So when you kill it, they not like, oh, he killed me. They're more so like, that's my dog, he did well. You know what I'm saying? He blessed the song, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something I had to learn with growing up and maturing, like, you know? So I don't look at it no way. I just think anybody who wants to use me for records now, thank you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If not, it's cool.
Cut the check and let's see what's up.
It's fine.
Talking about blessing, you blessed the track with Young Blue, and you know, I saw that he had responded to that, and then I was like, oh boy, here we go. and I promise you on anything, because I know, you know, a little bit about you. I'm like, oh man, this ain't gonna be good for Young Blue. And then, you know, I actually seen like, you know, you embraced it. Can you tell me how that went? And the reason I'm asking you that is because I thought it was so dope how the situation was handled. But I think it could send a bigger message to other artists out there on how to deal with situations.
The thing about it is what I've learned throughout, you know, the last couple of months is, you know, when the internet, or not even just the internet, but when people come together as a whole collective to give you shit, you gotta turn that shit to sugar, and you gotta be able to wear it and make it something that you're proud of. Because a lot of times, you know, people just have a misconception because how something's typed and brought together in an article, or how something's titled. You get what I'm saying? When they saw, you know, Blue, they probably didn't know that I've been listening to him. Like, you know, I've been from a while ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? My mans used to be listening to him in the crib for wild long. So people probably just thought it's just this, that, and the third. You know, in my eyes, when I jump on anybody's song, anybody's beat, that's me already paying respect, saying your record's hot. That's what everybody knows hip hop to be, at least from where we know it to be, you know. But I just felt like it was a misconception, and I just feel like it's a talented brother. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, a lot of times there's a misconception with how we get on the internet and say, yo, it's all about pro-black unity. But then when these situations arrive themselves, we're acting, you know, the same way. I can't give him, with all due respect to Blue, I couldn't give him the same energy he was giving me, because I don't feel that way about you, my mans. I like your music. We should make more music. Then he came here that same night and we sat, we talked, and I explained to him, you know, my perspective, he explained to me his. And when we understood that it was just a miscommunication, we ended up making a fire record in here. So it's like, again, it's all about your outlook and turning the shit situation into a sugar situation. You know what I'm saying? And that's really been my lesson that I've been kind of going over with myself. Like, you know, they you know, they just for example, you know, they when I went to jail or whatever, they put my height, right? And so ever since then, there's been this joke like that I'm like a leprechaun. You know, a leprechaun. You know what I'm saying? But I took that and, you know, I just made a Delta 8 cannabis strand called Black Leprechaun. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect, right?
And,
so you're making it
and
to
it's
sugar.
making money. Literally, I kid you not, I made 150 my first week of just selling flour. Not even our oils or anything else, or our gummies or anything. Like just selling flour. Like, you know what I'm saying? Legal flour. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's Delta 8. So for me, it's just like about turning it into a financial, not even just a financial, but just a success in your own way that you can wear it. You know, they laughed and thought that they were winning when they called me a leprechaun. Now I'm winning as I sell this product every day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that for you, because I ain't gonna lie, as a fan of yours and a person just in love with your growth and career, you know, I was getting concerned because I felt like, you know, people were just trying to challenge you to get, you know, a rage out of you so you can react to it. You know what I'm saying? So I love this space you're in now, where, you know, lemons are, you know, lemonade and, you know, shit to sugar and you know, all the different ways you could put it. I think that's an amazing space, and it's just gonna allow you to continue to grow.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And you know, all I want to do is grow. You know what I'm saying? Like before anything that was controversial came about in the media, I always was at a place where it was trying to be and better myself. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be better and to just better myself in everything that I was doing. So that doesn't change. You know.
Do you think fatherhood played any role in your maturity in this change as well?
Definitely. I mean, I feel like I was able to really spend a lot more time with my son, just even in the times of just COVID. You know, was really able to realize his mannerisms and how he looks at me and how he does what I do and how he looks at himself in the mirror when he's getting dressed. And just, you know, and my son is 3, but he's 3 going on 30, I swear. But, you know, just nurturing him and being around him really kind of had made me go, okay, you know, I gotta man it up, you know what I'm saying? Because regardless of whatever I'm going through, I gotta be strong for Lil, man. Like, and no matter what, he's gotta see a smile on my face, and he know the difference between my smile being fake and real. You know what I'm saying? He know it in my attitude and my way I expose myself, so I gotta find my ways to make sure that no matter what somebody tells me or someone says about me on the internet, my face, my energy is always happy, and he keeps me that way. He keeps me understanding, yo, balance. Yeah. You gotta stay balanced for Lil, man. Like,
that's dope,
you
man.
know? So.
That's dope. Talking about, you know, the time and quarantine and you know, and what we all have been dealing with for over a year, it was rough for a lot of us. It was rough for a lot of artists. They couldn't hit the road. They couldn't do things. You came up with something pretty creative with quarantine radio that
Thank
kept,
you so much.
including me and everybody else in this room and half of the world, you know, very entertained. What was the thought process with quarantine radio?
Honestly, it was really just an organic thing we just did. You know, it started off with it was kind of like Versus how we started it off.
Yeah.
But it was not like our own songs. It was just artists putting on music like against each other, sound clashing, like R&B music. Me and Bryson Tiller, best R&B song, best white boy songs of the 90s, best, you know what I'm saying? All the stuff that we was doing. And then, you know, over a period of time, it just started actually becoming something like, and when I say a period of time, I mean a couple of hours. Like I was on live and, you know, I just seen the viewers start going up. And as people called in and stuff like that, girls came on like, let me twerk, and then it just started getting entertaining. Boom, all of a sudden, you know, my man Saber comes out the room, he sees me, you know, sitting there with the quarantine radio mic and all of that stuff, and no, he gives me the mic, and you know, he sees what's going on my live, and he's like, whoa, like you got it going on, and he ended up being the ad-lib guy. That's the dude who's always doing the ad-libs. Yeah, okay. You know, he was just kicking it one day, so he ended up being the ad-lib guy. He walked in and just ended up being the ad-lib guy, and it just had a flow to it. And you know, I took quarantine radio off before it ever got. I don't like to run things into the ground. Right. I love when things are tasteful and you just have good memories about it. You don't have nothing bad to say because we never had a moment where we got on and it just flopped. Right. It's just like every time we've done it, it's been quarantine radio. So, you know, I'm just happy about the success of it, and I'm happy that I was able to bring people positivity, joy, and just like, you know, happiness in that time. You did. You also gave other artists, because it morphed into many things. It morphed into girls dancing, it morphed into artists coming through. I remember Chris Brown tapped in, Drake, and you know, quite a few other people, and the numbers was going crazy. I even remember, I think I was on one time when I think the Instagram itself shut down, you know what I mean? And then you got back up and stuff like that. We was doing a lot of things, you know, even just, I don't know if anybody recalls this, but like I was, and I don't want to say the first because I'm not 100% sure about that exact statement, but I believe I was the first, if not one of the first people who did an actual virtual show first. Yeah. Who had to show everybody like, yo, and I did it live on the live streaming when we had the social distance tour. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And you know, it's crazy to see that conspire into all of the live shows. Cause I literally remember when people were calling me and they was like, they were like, yo, I really want to see how this is gonna go because everyone's kind of wondering how we're gonna do shows. Yes. Like, and if this works, like, what are you gonna do? Is it gonna be awkward? Is it gonna be like, you know? And there was a lot of barriers that we were just breaking through. And, you know, I think just in that moment alone, just in those couple of months alone, it was just amazing to see all the things that we did in such a short time. Yeah, it was. And a lot of records were broken, and I think it morphed a lot of other ideas that people are running with to this day. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? So we all appreciate it. On behalf of all of us, thank you for Quarantine Radio.
Before the quarantine and everything happening, were there things that you had planned that kind of like, man, you had to like throw it off?
Not that much. I just really was gonna drop music, a lot of music that year. That was the year I was getting out of my deal with Interscope, and I was going fully independent. And so like for me, I was just focused on, you know, making sure that no matter what I was doing, it was gonna be quality music and that people were gonna hear a different side of Tory, like different videos, different, you know, and so none of that really changed. You know, I still came out with incredible music. I've stayed consistent, at least in my eyes, I like to think.
Gotcha.
You know, but yeah.
What are some of your favorite places to visit? I want to start, you know, with here. I happen to be in Atlanta for All-Star. And we were in the same party together. I didn't get to holler at you, but I've seen you in several different, you know, cities, and I know, you know, you make here a home. You have home in TO, but like, what's your favorite place to be?
I love Miami. I love Toronto as well. You know, and that's why that's the two places that I live. But
Right.
you know, I love to go to different places. I've been actually traveling now. Like I want to start doing things like going to Utah and like Wyoming and the places that like they don't tell you, yo, this is here and da 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 da. I want to go to those places now and
It's
start
so
recording.
funny. I was actually talking to somebody about that the other day, about a lot of artists that are starting to discover peace in those areas. You know,
It's
like
true.
Kanye and like everybody's kind of tired of LA, New York.
Things are just quiet. It's like sometimes you just need quiet to think, to get the clutter out of your brain and record and be creative, you know.
Everyone who's watching this, you know, especially after you haven't done any interviews, is obviously going to expect me to want to talk about the case, and I'm just going to be clear that I have no intentions in doing it. I'm not going to. I respect this, you know, the scenario that's going on and your privacy within that.
For sure.
But what I would like to ask, not directly related to the case, but has artists treated you differently since that, you know, scenario took place?
Really, it's been a lot of like, and I'm never gonna pop nobody's top, but I think, you know, really for me, artists have actually treated me with a lot more love, but it's been like a behind doors, and then like on the outside, it'll be this weird like, I gotta act like this.
Yeah.
But on the inside, it's like, yo, I really wanna be like this, and I want you to know that I'm like this, dog. But, you know, I take that in stride, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I don't ever look at anybody's situation. You know, I treat people how I treat people regardless of, whenever I met you, that's just how I treat you, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I don't blame anybody for moving how they move. That's just your character and how you go about things, you know? I go about things a little differently, but.
I find it, you know, ironic in the same space that it seems like everybody has their issues. As we can see, you know, almost on a weekly basis, there's something that, you know, we can see about an artist that did or said, or something's happening, you know what I'm saying? Without me having to mention any names, it's the obvious. So, you know, it always kind of makes me think like, you know, people shouldn't be so quick to judge.
Definitely. I think, you know, we've just been in quarantine for a long time, just the regulations of things that have been going on in the last couple months, the amount of struggles and people losing jobs, it's just a lot of frustration built up, and I feel like we're just all at home on computers just getting our thoughts out, and it's like, I really just feel like it's the time that's like, you know, it's kind of making us a little bit more crazy and a little bit more anal to things that we're not, and it's just like, you know, at the end of the day, the world will get over that when they do get over that, when people are allowed to be a little bit more free. I personally feel so. But, you know, at the end of the day, people have an expression. You know, this is what this country was built off of, is like freedom of speech, and you're allowed to say whatever you want to say. I record and smoke weed all day. I don't care. I don't care. You know, one thing too, and I want to say to other artists too, like this is like a trick that at least I understand, which really helps me with like when I have a bunch of people hating, right? You post a picture, let's just say this if for all artists, like this will help you if you have mass amounts of people that are just hating on you or whatever. Always look at it like this. You post a picture, right? This picture, let's say some people don't like this picture, right? But the picture always has like 150,000 likes, whatever it is, whatever your quota is, right? Let's say it has 20,000 likes, right? And you see a beret of 500 people in a comment list that are like, this fucking sucks, this, that, and you immediately are like, yo, whatever I'm doing, I should either stop or I should, you know, and then you don't look at the actual numbers of this.
Right.
20,000 people like this, 500 niggas is hating. Why do you give a fuck?
Right.
The comments of people hating are never oversee the likes.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is like, and you know, that's case by case, but majority of the time when you're doing something, people aren't really looking at the era that you think they are. It's only those really analytic people that are just so on your dick that they're just looking too hard.
Right.
And those people feel so much of a way that they need to comment and say something. The people who love you are showing you they love you with their click, their like, their post, and you always like look at your shit. If you have more likes than you have hate, don't switch it. There's nothing wrong with it, man. Be you. Be you. You know what I'm saying? But that should always help you because I watch, you know, people with, you know, high profiles and, you know, just high profile artists, just people that just have a lot of comments and a lot of likes. I see people with 500,000 likes and be mad at 1,000 comments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, at the end of the day, who cares if 500,000 people love that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's true, because if you look at
look at all of it. Don't just look at one part of it. Look at all of it.
It's like companies, like major corporations, they account for losses. So when they open up, they're like, all right, we already know that 10%, we're gonna lose money on 10% of that.
Facts.
So don't even worry about that. So it's kind of like
That's a fact.
the same thing
It's
what
the
you're
same
saying.
thing.
How do you, with that being said too, how do you feel about this, you know, notion of cancel culture? You know what I'm saying? Where people are canceling them, where, you know, I get a little frustrated. I'm gonna just get my piece on it real quick and let you breathe on it. But my thing is that, listen, we all human beings. You know what I'm saying? We're not computers. We're human beings. We are going to make mistakes. We're gonna fuck up. We're gonna say and do shit wrong. You understand? So this idea of like, oh, you said something I didn't like, so you're canceled. You know, I've been bunning a fire in that as much as I can on the radio. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all right now? I will never cancel no black person. You know what I'm saying? Unless you fuck with a little kid or something. You know what I mean? Maybe, but you know, like we have too much up against us to be canceling each other. Yeah. You understand, kind of a deal. And then, you know, at the end of the day, people are gonna make mistakes. I'm not gonna, you know, I make mistakes, my son makes mistakes, but cancel. So what's your take on this cancel culture going on?
I don't want to go too far in this because I'm gonna be all over the media, but what is a cancel? What is canceled? I've yet to see somebody that they say is canceled, or like a thing that they say is canceled, not be liked a month later.
Right.
Every single thing that they said was canceled was regular a month later. If we're gonna, I think we should change the word from canceled to suspended or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you're suspended, my nigga.
Right,
like, you know what I'm saying? You need to sit down for some time and get your shit together. You're suspended for that one right there. But the word cancel, I just think it's used a little loosely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And regardless of the fact, I don't really think it should be used at all unless you really mean it. But here's the thing about meaning it. You can mean it, and this person won't mean it. People, again, have freedom of speech. They like what they like, and they love what they love. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you can't stop somebody from liking what they like and loving what they love. The thing about cancel culture is all it means is there's a bunch of people that are gonna type he's canceled, she's canceled, this person, da 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 da. You know, at the end of the day, I believe in love and positivity. I don't believe in casting hatred on anybody. I believe in helping people out of their mistakes. I believe that if someone did something or someone, you know, made it wrong, why can't we figure out how we can help them be better, opposed to saying, fuck you? Because then it kind of contradicts the people who are saying like, yo, you're canceled, they stand for everything to be right, right? Yeah. Well, being right means that you do the right thing. The right thing is to help somebody, pick them up, uplift them, not tear them down. Yeah. So you're contradicting yourself in these statements anyway, which is why for me, I don't really like to touch on this because it just doesn't make any sense.
Nah, facts, I'm with you on that, brother.
It just doesn't really make any sense.
Tory, you're so multifaceted in your talent, you know, in your artistry. You know, from singing to rapping to battling. there's so many sides to you, you know? Do you have like a favorite side, or like how do you maneuver between the different styles that Tory has, and how do you know when to kind of go on one or deal with the other? Like, how do you deal with the many faces of Tory Lanez?
Just me. For me, I try to prioritize what I feel like is important. The things that I don't feel like are important, I try to see the importance of them. When I treat people, however I treat them, I treat people how I want to be treated. So sometimes I even take myself back when I'm wilding on somebody, because I might get too harsh and realize, I wouldn't want somebody to do this to me. So let me tone it down. Certain things I just kind of give myself a self-reflection on before I approach a situation. And with all aspects of things that are going on, sometimes it takes that second to breathe and understand what's going on and then move into it. You feel me?
What do you want to be best known for, you know? Like, what is the legacy that you would like people to remember about Tory Lanez?
I just want them to know how I opened up the doors to innovation. Like, I feel like the only thing, regardless of whatever happens, I just want people to understand that I innovated a lot of shit, that I was the first to do a lot of things, and that with that, I opened up a door and said, everybody come in. I just want to be commended for that when it's all said and done, because, mark my words, beyond the music, beyond the entertainer, I promise, for black people just in general, just for not even just black people, just people in general, but mainly black people, people who come from where we come from, never had certain opportunities. The way I'm gonna open doors, not just in music, I'm talking about corporately, the way I'm gonna open doors for our community is something that can't be fathomed. You know what I'm saying? Unless, God forbid, somebody kills me, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Nah, I don't think so.
So, my eyes and my angle is set on creating so many more tunnels which we can all go through. You know what I'm saying? And when I leave here, you're gonna just see a plethora of just wild, gateways that I opened up, and if you really pay attention to me, you'll realize that a lot of things I do, I'm the first one to do. But then some other guy who's like notoriety and famous and the celebrity will come see that shit and take it. You know what I'm saying? But I just never want it to be forgotten where it comes from, because I actually am also the guy with notoriety and fame too. And my history is also paid attention to. So if it is, treat it as such, that's all.
Can we take it back a little way back to your childhood? What was it like for you, like growing up? Did you have it rough? Were you moving around a lot? I find, and the reason I ask about this is, I find people who have such talent, it comes from something. It comes from a level of struggle or pain or something they dealt with from their childhood.
For sure.
That kind of like allows them to be so amazing at what they do now. Can you touch on that a little bit?
For me, I mean, my life was very good, as far as me having both of my parents and having a big household. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. When I was 11, my mom died. That's what twisted my whole shit around. So when my mom died, I just started being very angry and upset, very rebellious, very, you can't tell me what to do.
You were close with her?
Very close. I'm the baby of 6 kids, you know what I'm saying? So it was these moments where basically, like, I would go to school, get suspended, I get expelled. I was expelled from every single school I've ever been to since 6th grade on. And there's probably like 139 was the number, 139 suspensions on my record.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because what they would do is that there's this one point when, like, I would go to school, they would suspend me for 3 days. I'd come back to school, get suspended on the day that they came, you know what I'm saying? And I would just, it just like for like a good 2-3 years, it was just like that. Like, so like there's just mad suspensions. Like then there'd be whatever school they sent me to, they'd suspend me to the
What would you get suspended for?
Bad behavior. I just didn't listen. And I was very smart, very intelligent. So I knew what I was doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But because of those times when they suspended me and I spent so much time at home when all the other kids were at school, I always was writing. So when everyone was at school learning mathematics and all the things that I was putting words together on it with the instrumentals and the like when kids wanted the video games, I wanted the video games too, but I wanted the instrumental CD with the new beats. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I knew I was gonna be at home. Like, I knew I was gonna be at home. So that, you know, made my skill exponentially so much better than everybody because I got a head start. All of my high school and middle school years, I was just writing.
Wow.
So it's just like listening to everybody, listening to artists, writing.
When you were a kid, who was like your favorite artist at that time?
I looked up to my brothers. My brothers was dope, you know what I'm saying? Of course, Jay-Z, Nas,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? People like that, but my brothers was really the dope ones to me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was just so dope that somebody so close to me was rapping.
What was their rap names?
What was Mo going by? I can't even remember what Mo was going by. My brother was going by Brooks. I think Mo had a bunch of names, but he goes by Yoko Gold now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like, those two was, and you know, my brother Sos. So those three actually were just like, yo, I looked at them like, yo, these niggas is nice. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They put me onto all the newer music and stuff like that. Hey, yo, y'all have Vaseline or something? My lips look wild dry right now because they feel
Mine
wild
too.
dry. Like, I just feel wild dry. Like, I just hope I don't look like Tyrone Biggums right now.
Nah.
Am I good?
Yeah, you good, but I feel it too.
It's like, yo, I don't know what's going on.
I was
But
studying.
just pass me some water.
We just finished talking about the love and respect you have for your brothers, and we just finished talking about the artists that you respected coming up. You know, at what point did you know that you was onto something musically? Like, yeah.
I would have to say 11 when I started. You know, I was just like, I'm gonna take this seriously. And once I set myself to saying I was gonna take it seriously, I felt like I was gonna be an artist.
What was the first song, like the first real song that you came up with?
I don't know. I remember my first rhymes. I don't remember the first song though. You know, I probably
What was
had
your
some
first rhyme
bullshit.
about?
My first rhymes is like, on the scene 13 and I'm covered with ice. This is the first one I remember.
All right.
On the scene 13 and I'm covered with ice. Red, purple gemstones, same color as rice. You know me, rhymes hit hard so they ain't nothing nice. I got shorties to see what I need with a wife. I got shit like that. It was hard though. I ain't gonna lie, it was hard. Because I was colder than everybody else at that age because I was from 11,
That song would be a hit today.
Yeah.
So with that, you know, with that, I know you got into like battle rapping. Can you talk about that? Like, you know, that whole time when you were battle rapping?
All my life, I just wanted to be the best. Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as just competition-wise, I always wanted to show whoever they said was the best that I'm better. I'm da-da-da-da. That's the way I looked at it at the time. So, you know, when we was doing that, I was just trying to show my city that I was like super nice. You know, when I came to Brampton, I started living in Brampton, Flower City and shit. My style was different. I wasn't a Flower City type nigga. I was a different type nigga. You feel me? Like I was from America. So going to the B and doing certain things and rapping, they didn't understand like why I was so cocky. And so like it would really make, a lot of them didn't like me out there, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I grew up just like, that's how it was when I came in from America. I was living in America first. So, you know, that's what we was doing out here. So, you know, I brought that culture just into Toronto, like it just, people just either liked it or they didn't like it, but me, I was always on it.
Was there anybody back then that we know in the industry now that you were, you know, that you ran into or?
I mean, I'm not sure if you know him or not. There was this kid named Tech Rhymes who turned into this dude named Toby. His name is Toby though, you know what I'm saying? That's what he goes by, right? Nice? Yeah, he started singing. He started singing. Like, yo, this man tried to sing, like real talk. Yo, you tried to take, nah, just play it. I had to get him with that because he got me with that exact line in the battle. Back in the days when I was singing, I'll never forget it. I used to sing, I was singing before everybody. So this is like before Drake and shit, like I was singing, like, you know what I'm saying? But I was in high school, like early, like, so niggas was like, this nigga sings and raps? Like, what do you mean you sing?
that?
Like, what do you mean you sing, bro? Like, you know?
Yeah.
So I remember that was one of the lines but he was nice. As a battle rapper, he was nice. He was like, yo, look at this man. He tried to sing. Like, real talk, you tried to sing. You know what I'm saying? And I went, oh. I had to get you back though. Nah, but you know.
He got you back. But now that singing has turned into be something amazing because, I mean, you have Caribbean heritage, you know, so from the Caribbean, that was always a part of like the Caribbean culture. You know,
sure.
we used to call it sing J, you know, like the rapping would be DJing and then you'd have the singing and they would mix the both styles. Did a lot of your love for the Caribbean vibe kind of come into your music as well?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was raised in Barbados, also in like different places. Like I'm Bayesian, you know
You hear
what I'm
that
saying?
bulletproof? It's bulletproof.
Yeah, I'm Bayesian, you know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
A lot of people think that I'm Jamaican. I'm not Jamaican. I'm
Right.
Bayesian. I'm from the West Indies, but I'm Bayesian. Like I'm from where Rihanna is from, Barbados. So what people don't understand is like I was raised by Jamaicans. Like when my man's who's like my closest dogs, Jay, his mom is who took me in. Claudia is like who took me in, like you feel me? So with her, she was like somebody who's super Jamaican. He's super Jamaican. You know, my cousins around them everyone's just was Jamaican except me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like that's where I was raised. So whenever I get on songs and I start talking patois and stuff like that, it's because really it was just around me. Like that was the influence that I got growing up. You know?
Yeah. I know that too because I went through the same thing because there were more Jamaicans here in America. So since there weren't a lot of Trinis or like Bajans, you kind of like used to flex with the Jamaicans and stuff like that.
That's a fact.
So a lot of Jamaican influence runs through all of us from all the different islands anyway because their music was more prevalent.
Of course.
Do you think that, you know, it's kind of difficult for you because I know you have a team now and you have other artists under your umbrella. Do you find that difficult, you know, to be an artist and still have artists under your umbrella and to kind of manage that?
Nah. Every artist that's under me, and I wouldn't even say under me, even though I sign them, I don't look at artists like they're under me. That's the first thing in understanding exactly like being an artist that signs other artists. This is not about you looking cool.
Right.
That's the one thing. People think I'm a boss, I signed an artist. No, you put somebody's life in your hands. You just put somebody's responsibilities for their career in your hands. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if their shit doesn't go, it's probably because you didn't give it whatever. Or it could be that person too. But you are taking up like at least 50% of responsibility of like, 50% of this is on me too to get you to certain places. You know what I'm saying? You know, the one thing about me is like, I manage myself. I've been managing myself. But people don't understand, I have no manager. You know, my manager turned into my business partner. Right. We do other business elsewhere than music. We get other money in so many other places. So it's not one of those situations where once I stopped needing a manager, I started learning that other artists really don't need people that, you know, are just there to just call themselves a manager. You just need somebody who really understands how to make sure that the things for you are going right and that you as an artist are getting things you don't deserve. You know what I'm saying? That's what a great manager does for you. He gets you things you don't deserve. A good manager gets you, you know, the things that you should be at, the things you should have, you're at the events you should be at.
Right.
Great manager gets you in that room you should not be in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, should not be here with these guys over here, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I always strive to just remind myself the same way that when I was with any of the labels that I've been with, to never ever treat them like they're anything less than a priority. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I find my way to prioritize what I need versus prioritizing what they need. And everybody gets what they gotta get. Everybody's flourishing. I'm so proud of VBS Ken, kid from Orlando, you know what I'm saying, that had nothing, you know what I'm saying? Just seen him get verified randomly the other day, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Davo, Melly, Mariah, Poppy Yer, and what's about to be Manson, who's about to come out. I'm so excited just like to see what this is about to turn into full fruition. Like everybody's doing something. Poppy Yer made 3 of my hottest records, even just by production, not even on his artistry stuff, just by on his production. Broken a Minute, Jerry Sprunger, The Take, you know what I'm saying, with Chris Brown.
Broken a Minute.
Yeah, for sure. He made one of the best, still going to this day. You know, Mariah, every single time she's just doing records with Lil Baby, the hottest artist in her city. She's from Atlanta, so you know Lil Baby like Jay-Z to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but just seeing her do that, coming out with a fresh album, and seeing so many new people just embracing her, fresh hot females in the game that are really just embracing her. Same thing with Melly. Melly just got on Beyonce's commercial with the Ivy Park with the music. She just did a song with Wayne and came back with the one with Black. It's like everybody is just doing things, and I'm just like, I watched all y'all come from nothing. Like I watched all y'all be nothing, like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's all about me nurturing their slow grind and nurturing them as artists and making sure that I'm not looking at them as they're under me, I'm looking at them as they're beside me, and they're my label mates, and whatever I can do is my resources to help them and make them understand that even if there is people that do help to manage on certain areas and aspects, like, you know, I always will make sure that I'm still there if I can't be fully there, you know what I'm saying? And if I can't be fully there to do it by myself, then I'll put somebody there that you can respect and trust and that is gonna look at your best interests, you know, and that's just what I do, you know.
Man, this has been amazing. I want to just take an opportunity. I want to give you some gold roses, and then I want to ask you one more question, and then we can wrap it up.
For sure.
I want to thank you again for this opportunity here today. It really means the world to me. I think this is one of the highlights, and will be one of the highlights of my career. And
thank you.
The reason I'm bringing this to you and the gold roses to you is because, you know, sometimes the littlest thing in your mind to you, like, oh yeah, I'll give Papa Keith this interview, could be my world. You know what I'm saying, so to speak. And
I respect the shirt, by the way.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you. It's a new thing I got called Picture on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
remember the
that's
song
fine.
from Piccolo? Put your picture on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah. So I decided to launch. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
I like that.
Yeah. So it allows me to share some great moments that I have, which was, you know, interviewing you and your team. But not to digress, you know, I want to thank you because that's who you are, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the little things for me. Sitting in your Rolls Royce truck and bundling a spliff, you know what I mean? Like, those are things that, you know, I live for, those memories that, believe it or not, I could tell my son and stuff like that who look up to you. And you give me those opportunities. You know, not to say that other artists don't, but you're really good at it. And you're really mindful in how you operate and deal with people, and you make people feel welcome and all those different things. Always. And you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to. You got a lot of people that, you know, look up to you. So I just want to give you your gold roses and thank you
I
for
appreciate that.
You know?
Nah, thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you, dog.
The other thing I want to just give an opportunity for you to speak on is, what is you would say is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about Tory Lanez?
I think people have this thing where they think that, like, I'm like arrogant, or like I'm very, I think my confidence gets misconstrued as cockiness. And I just want people to understand, like, when it comes down to me just doing what I believe is my craft, I just want to be the best at that. When it comes down to me as a person, as Daystar Peterson, I'm one of the most kindest, you know, caring people, unless you piss me off and it's fuck you. And I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat that. Like, if you piss me off and you disrespect me, it's fuck you. But if you're a regular person, I treat you how I want to be treated. If you're somebody who treats me well, I don't care if you're the doorman or if you're the boss. I treat the boss like the doorman. And vice versa. Like, that's just what it is, because at the end of the day, everybody deserves to be uplifted. Everybody deserves to be happy. Everybody does. Just because you worked a little bit extra harder, or your job entails you to be this guy and you're the owner of XYZ, doesn't mean that the doorman's arm ain't hurting every time he has to open a door for somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I try to just treat everybody equally, and I never want people to get misconcepted that I'm some arrogant guy who's like piss posh. Nah, I'm not like that. Right. You know, so.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you again for this interview. On my closing, I know you have your strain or whatever, but I'll be remiss not to, you know, in the same fashion.
I see.
In the same fashion of how you know, you bring your team with you. You know, I roll with my Timeless boys, and and they have a very high-end cannabis line called Timeless Cannabis. So
Okay.
I brought, some for you to sample, and
sure.
and that's how it looks right there.
Y'all
man.
gonna come collaborate with the Black Leprechaun one of these days.
I would love that.
Let's get it done. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it done.
I would love that, man. Tory,
for
thank you
sure.
so
Love,
much,
man,
man.
for
I
sure.
appreciate this
Appreciate you
opportunity,
too,
brother.
bro.
It's love.
All love.